All right, gals. Today's episode is only for redheads. Redheads only. If you're not a redhead, please turn this off and come back next time. Hello, gals, and welcome to Sobriety Snippets for Ambitious Women Over 40. I'm Becca Jacobson, and I'm here to deliver a snippet. But more than a snippet, inspiration to help you put down the bottle and pick up happy, conscious living. If you're new here, this is what we call Snippet Land, and it is the place to be if you're over 40, professional, ambitious, got everything together except the bottle. And that's what happens, doesn't it? It happens to more and more of us than we can possibly imagine. The ironic thing is we think we're alone. We think it's this big, dirty little secret and nobody else has ever experienced it. I certainly thought that. There I am teaching English at the college, the college professor, and doing the thing that I do, and thinking that if anyone ever knew how much I drink and how much I struggle with my drinking and how many times I've tried to quit and failed, that the sky would fall. And it turns out there are so many of us, so many of us. And that is what I do now. I get to bring you into my world, help you get where you want to go, get to know you on varying degrees of intimacy. Some I don't get to know, you just hear my voice, and that's enough for me as long as it's helping you. Gals, this is Snippet Land, and I'm here to inspire, motivate, and maybe even give you a giggle or two. By the way, if you're not a redhead, I won't tell anyone and you can stay. Today, I want to talk to you about the difference between what you know and what you do, the difference between what we know and what we do. This is, all right, I admit it, similar to surface dwelling. Now, what is surface dwelling? The veterans in Snippet Land know what surface dwelling is, but gals, we can never talk about this enough. We really can't, because it is so pernicious and it is so, what's the word I want? It's this 2025, this society we live in now is so different. It's such an information overload place to be that it's really hard not to surface dwell. It's really hard not to collect information and do nothing with it because it's coming at us from all sides, all angles, and we get addicted to it. We get into the scroll. We get into the here, there, the other. And what we do is we bring in more and more information and we never do anything with it. One of the things I don't want to happen is to have you just collecting snippets and not taking action. So it occurred to me that I'm constantly, not constantly, but I will remind you a lot that surface dwelling, meaning not digging into the information, not actually practicing what you're learning, is dangerous. But then it occurred to me, well, there's over 500 snippets out there. So you're probably tempted to surface dwell on the snippets. So today we're going to put an end to that. We're going to end that today. And I'm going to ask you to commit to take action instead of just listening. What kind of action? Well, there's lots of things you can do. Today, at the end of this snippet, I'm going to give you an action that you can take that will prove to yourself I'm not just listening, I'm here to make a change in my life. But let's first talk more about the temptation. It's more than temptation. It's so easy to sit and let information flow into us and not do anything with it. It actually is kind of enjoyable. We don't have to do anything. We just sit there and watch one reel after another or watch Netflix, which is totally different, but you get the point. And so how do we jar ourselves out of that complacency and instead put down the device and take some sort of action to actually make the change in our life that we want? Well, the fact of the matter is, gals, that if you struggle with alcohol, you really don't have a choice unless you want your life to spiral, unless you want your drinking to get worse and worse and worse, which it will, which it does. It just invariably does, especially as we get older. You'll suddenly wake up one morning and go, when did I start having blackouts? I'm not a blackout drinker. And all of a sudden, 2 glasses of wine, you wake up the next morning and you don't remember going to bed. This is what happens as we get older and we're drinking. It's incredibly pernicious, very sneaky, and very dangerous. I know because I ended up in 2018 in an 8-day blackout. And I mean, I didn't plan that. I woke up after 8 days and I don't remember anything in those 8 days. It was bizarre. It was dangerous. I was in an alcoholic psychosis, and all I did was start by having a couple of drinks. And it grabbed me, shut down my brain, and I have no memories for those 8 days. Please don't do that. I'm lucky I survived that, especially because I wasn't eating. I could have had a heart attack so easily. Gals, how are we going to dig in? How are we going to stop surface dwelling? How are we going to stop collecting information? I want to give you a story. I want to tell you a story about a woman. This happened today, and it's what prompted this snippet. I have women in my world and I teach them. I teach about mindset. I teach about the power of being self-aware about your thoughts, being very aware of what you're thinking, how to use those thoughts to change your life, how to dig into changing the conscious mind, which will eventually change the subconscious. Mindset, right? Changing our mind so that we can change our life. And I'm teaching this all the time. And then a woman comes into my world and she says, you know, Becca, I've been listening to you for a long time, but I just discovered this other podcast where they were saying that what we really should do is we should watch our thoughts, and we should watch our thoughts day after day, and we'll discover really interesting things about ourselves and change our lives. I went, I'm sorry, what? Wait, what just happened? I'm sorry, where have we heard that before? I've been talking about this nonstop for over 500 snippets, and somehow this woman didn't hear me. She didn't hear me. No, she heard me, but she's surface dwelling. She's never stopped to take any action. Instead, she's like, I'm going to go check out somebody else. Oh, there's somebody else. I'm not saying that the other information she got was no good. I'm saying, how many times do you have to be told the same thing before we go, oh, wait a minute, maybe they actually meant I need to do this, not just hear it. It's a classic example of surface dwelling because there was no new information coming into her ears, if you want to call it. There was no new information there. But for some reason, she just missed the point entirely that she already knew that, but had failed to put it into practice. This is a classic surface dwelling. And I'm actually not criticizing this woman individually because we all do this. It's really hard not to take in more and more and more information. It's so easy. We can be so lazy. We can put in our earbuds. We can go for a walk and listen to another show, another book, more information. But when do we practice it, gals? When do we stop and say, I'm going to try this thing? I'm going to actually monitor my thoughts. I'm going to get some self-awareness. I'm going to write down what I'm thinking so I can look at it and see what it's doing to my life. I'm going to look at my drinking. Whatever we decide to practice, when do we actually do it as opposed to just hear about it? When? I'll tell you when. When you decide to be intentional. When you decide, oh my God, enough's enough. Now, I'm not saying don't get your snippets. I publish them 4 days a week. I don't think that 12 minutes, 10, 12, whatever minutes on a snippet is going to make you a surface dweller. But it will if all you ever do is listen to the snippets. Let me ask you something. For those of you who've been around a while, have you ever taken action at the end of a snippet? I always give you something to do, whether it's go and grab my guides or whether it's join one of my free events or whether it's write down a journal prompt that I've given you. I give lots of actions that you can take. Have you ever taken one action or have you just listened to all your snippets? Today is the day to take action because then you're going to prove to yourself, wait a minute, I'm actually going to do something with this information as opposed to just hear it. So what can we do today that will be symbolic? And not only today, but I decided, I was on my hike today thinking about this again because it happened again. I've got another message, that, as I said, this woman who came into my world and said, oh, listen, guess what? We should watch our thoughts. I'm like, oh my God, I've said that 5,000 times. So I thought to myself, how can I help these women stop doing this? Because it's not just you and you and you. It's there. It's the way our society is. I love our society. Thank God we live in this technological society. I couldn't do this if we didn't. I am not opposed to this era that we live in. But there are dangers. There are dangers. So today I want you to commit to start taking action. And I am committed to giving you actions to take more consciously. So I'm always giving you, do this, you can try that, practice this, you can jump on here, but I'm going to be more intentional about that. And each snippet, I'm going to say, okay, before you do anything else, at the end of this snippet, I want you to do this. And I'm going to give you something at every single snippet. Who is up for this? Put your hand up if you're up for this. Come on, put it up. I know you're out there. Put up your hand if you're up for taking one small action at the end of your snippets. Awesome. Awesome. I see the hands out there. I know they're up. So let's begin today, gals. And today is going to be a very simple action, but I want you to do it. Now remember, you've committed. So here's an example of the types of actions I'm going to be giving you in the coming weeks. Number 1 today is, as soon as this snippet ends, you're going to hear some happy jazz music. Yay, love the music. I want you to put down your device. If you're driving, then as soon as you stop the vehicle, okay? I want you to put down your device if you're holding it, whatever. When the snippet ends, I want you to stand up, close your eyes, take 3 deep belly breaths, put your hand on your heart, and say, either out loud or whisper it to yourself, I am committed to taking action. That's it, gals. Now, come on. Don't tell me you can't do that. Snippet Land just became the place where you cannot surface dwell because I'm literally going to say to you, okay, here's the action you need to take in honor of today's snippet. What are you going to do today? Stand up, take 3 deep belly breaths with the eyes closed, put your hand on your heart and say, I am committed to taking action. That's it. That's it. It's that simple. Next snippet, I'm going to give you another action. In the meantime, if you're interested in coming deeper into Snippet Land and getting more information from me, particularly that belly breath, you can go to the show notes of this episode and tap the link and I will deliver to you my breathing guide where I give you 3 key breaths that help with triggers. They calm the nervous system, they stimulate the vagus nerve, and if you learn them and practice them, you are no longer surface dwelling. But if you don't want to do that, you are at the very least going to stand up, close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and say, after 3 deep breaths, you're going to say, I am committed to taking action. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.